If you've been eating healthier, taking supplements, and doing everything right for your autoimmune symptoms, but still feel exhausted, inflamed, and run down by flares, stress may be playing a bigger role in your symptoms than you realize. In this episode, we're diving into the connection between the nervous system, inflammation, emotional overload, and autoimmune disease, and what you can do about it. You'll learn why your body may be staying in survival mode, how stress can affect flare ups and fatigue, and gentle ways to begin supporting your nervous system without adding more pressure to your day. So grab a pen and paper, refill your coffee, and let's dive in. Have you tried everything to eliminate autoimmune symptoms like joint pain and digestion issues without relief? Are you struggling to keep up with the demands of life due to chronic fatigue? Does chronic pain keep you from doing the things you love in life? If you are feeling defeated and hopeless, you are not alone. I am Ashley Cavolo, a busy working mom who once struggled with debilitating autoimmune symptoms. I too felt like giving up after trying every possible solution without relief from symptoms like joint pain and stiffness, painful digestion issues, relentless chronic fatigue, and embarrassing brain fog, until it was time to stop allowing the pain to control my life. I dove into the root cause of autoimmune diseases and was shocked to find the answer is not found in endless doctor visits, harsh medications, expensive supplements, or strict food lists. The secret to healing autoimmune symptoms is found within the specific habits that reduce inflammation and heal symptoms quickly and naturally. I applied what I learned and found relief from my symptoms in a matter of weeks. 7 years later, I am living a pain-free life free of autoimmune symptoms. I turned this discovery into a self-paced program called the Autoimmune Reboot, where I share my secrets and my step-by-step process to help you heal your symptoms quickly so you can live a pain-free life. This podcast is for you if you are ready to eliminate joint pain so you can jump out of bed every morning pain-free. Heal and maintain a healthy gut so you can enjoy your favorite foods again without that uncomfortable bloat. Go from no energy and endless coffee breaks to an abundance of natural energy and stamina to tackle the day. Eliminate uncomfortable autoimmune symptoms such as bloating, brain fog, constipation, diarrhea, digestion pain, inflammation, joint stiffness, skin rashes, and many more. Living a pain-free life is easier and closer than you think. I can't wait to show you what I discovered. Refresh your coffee and let's dive in. The connection between chronic stress, the nervous system, and autoimmune disease runs deeper than many people even realize. In the beginning of my autoimmune journey, conventional medicine focused solely on testing and medications, and it wasn't until I realized this wasn't helping my symptoms. My symptoms were actually getting worse. That was when I faced the hard truth. I was never going to get answers I was looking for in the doctor's office. So I pivoted, I researched, and began to nourish my body. And that's when relief came, not in months, but in a matter of weeks. I had finally found the answers I was looking for, not in more medications or test results. I discovered my body needed to be cared for, nourished, and rebuilt from the ground up. Then something amazing happened. I began to recognize when certain foods and habits made me feel better or worse. So I took those signs as messages from my body and focused on what made me feel good. And what I quickly realized was this. My body was sending me messages when it came to other areas of life too. I began to notice symptoms and flares would creep in after a busy work week or after being in a toxic environment, and I realized stress was affecting my health, yet no one was talking about it. So I went back to researching and discovered chronic stress plays a key role in inflammation and autoimmune symptoms, and it works like this. Your immune system and nervous system are deeply connected. When your body is in constant survival mode, it affects every process in your body, like inflammation, hormones, sleep, digestion, pain, energy, and the immune system. So if you're living with an autoimmune disease, you know how your body feels when you go through high emotions, conflict, burnout, chronic pressure, poor sleep, and overcommitment. You know when a stressful season hits, your symptoms will spike. Chronic pain increases, fatigue gets worse, inflammation sets in, and you crash, missing work and spending days glued on the couch. The truth is, this isn't your fault. Your brain is designed to follow the same habits and patterns you always follow to keep you comfortable. So you could be following the same habits for years, not even realizing you're triggering stress. In addition, stress management typically isn't a part of the conversation when you visit your doctor, even though you have been stuck in stress patterns for years and you don't even realize it. But the good news is this: there are things you can do to reduce and even eliminate stress from your life. And knowing how is the game changer for people living with autoimmune symptoms who want to find more peace and balance in their life. And it comes down to one simple strategy. When you are able to identify the sources of your stress, you can take back control of your mindset, your body, and your entire day. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and make a list of the moments in your day-to-day life that feel stressful. There is no right or wrong answer. Maybe it's rushing to get out the door in the mornings. It could be trying to figure out weeknight dinners. Maybe your job is sucking the life out of you. And it could even be a relationship with a family member or a friend who constantly expects more and more out of you but doesn't reciprocate. Once you make this list, I then want you to brainstorm a solution to reduce the stress in every situation you listed. For example, there was a time when weekday mornings felt like running a marathon in my house, rushing the kids to daycare and school before a full workday. And to make mornings feel seamless and less stressful, I implemented an evening routine that included unpacking backpacks and lunches, repacking them for the next day. I also had meal prep lunches and breakfasts ready to go in the fridge. This allowed me to simply grab what we needed in order to run out the door without having to worry about what I'm packing and scrambling to pack backpack. If it's a stressful relationship, find a way to set boundaries for yourself. It's okay to say no. It's okay to have other plans. Remember, you are allowed to protect your peace and your health, and it should be a non-negotiable part of your life going forward. The truth is, it's not just about avoiding the stress, it's also about preventing the crash and burn that comes afterwards. So get ahead of the stress by finding ways to slow down and rest before you're forced to stop living your life. It can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's simply about rewiring your brain to find comfort in peace and calm rather than chaos. If this episode resonated with you and you've been trying to figure out why your body feels stuck in constant stress, inflammation, exhaustion, and flares, this is exactly why I created the all-new Flare Proof app. Flare Proof helps you begin understanding the patterns behind your symptoms by tracking things like stress, energy, sleep, and daily habits all in one place. So you can stop guessing what's triggering your flares, stop the patterns, and know exactly how to reset those patterns to support your health and get ahead of flares. When you can finally understand what your body needs, you can actually heal. Try the Flareproof app completely free at flareproofapp.com or click the link in the show notes. I hope this podcast has helped you in your autoimmune journey. If you find value and inspiration in this episode, please leave a 5-star rating and review and share the episode with a friend. When you do, you are helping this podcast reach people around the world who are ready to live a pain-free life. The information and opinions shared in this podcast are for educational and informational purposes only. The content within this podcast is not a substitute for professional care. Always seek the advice of a physician or medical professional to answer health-related questions. Implementing the advice shared on this podcast should be done at your own risk. Actions taken by listeners as a result of the content shared on this podcast is not the responsibility of the host or creator. This podcast does not endorse and is not affiliated with treatments or products mentioned in this podcast unless otherwise specified. Products or treatments shared in this podcast are for informational purposes only. Always seek the advice of a medical professional for answers to product or treatment questions. All content, including but not limited to text, graphics, logos, and material shared under the Autoimmune Reboot podcast, is protected by copyright and all applicable laws. Any kind of unauthorized distribution or use of this content is strictly prohibited and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Listening to this podcast is acknowledging your agreement with these terms.